All right, let's dive in. The date is March 20, 2026, and the world of AI? Well, it's not a playground anymore, it's a full-on battleground. So who's actually winning this war for our digital future? In this explainer, we're going to break down who's leading the pack, who's falling behind, and what this crazy AI arms race really means for you and me. You know, it really feels like just yesterday that ChatGPT was this cool new toy we were all playing with. But, as HackerNoon puts it so well, we've gone way, way beyond that. We are in a full-blown AI arms race, and the big players are fighting for so much more than just our attention. They're fighting for our workflows, our loyalty, and most importantly, our trust. So here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with the big picture of this whole arms race and meet the titans who are battling it out. Then we'll get super practical and see how you can use their weapons to give your own career a serious boost. We'll even peek at the advanced tools the real power users are mastering. Before we finally call it, we'll declare the winners of 2026 and look at what's coming up next. Okay, let's start with the race itself. See, this isn't about simple chatbots anymore. We have hit a tipping point where AI has become totally essential. It's the new infrastructure, a strategic platform that people and whole companies are literally building their futures on.
And this battle, it isn't just about who has the fanciest tech. No, it's a fight for total market dominance. You've got four major titans all vying for your loyalty, and as we're about to see, the choice you make can have some pretty big consequences.
And this right here is the crucial point. HackerNoon says that the AI ecosystem you commit to is going to shape your work and your creativity for years to come. This is not a casual choice anymore. It's a huge strategic decision.
So if picking the wrong AI is a strategic mistake, we had better know who we're choosing from, right? Let's meet the four titans in this high-stakes game because, believe me, each one has carved out a very, very unique identity.
I love how this slide gives each AI its own personality. So you've got Google's Gemini, right? The established contender that's already wired into basically everything we use. Then there's Anthropic's Claude, which is positioned as the thoughtful, kind of principled choice for serious writing and reasoning. Of course, you have OpenAI's ChatGPT, the incumbent, the one that really started this whole party. And then, the wild card, xAI's Grok, which is fast, a little controversial, and uniquely plugged into the real-time chaos of X.
Okay, so we have these powerful players, but how do we actually put their tools to work for us? Let's zoom in from this massive war and focus on a very practical battlefield, your CV. So here's a totally typical line from a resume. It's fine. It describes a task, but it really doesn't show any impact. It's what most of us write, and it's exactly the kind of thing that AI can help us completely transform.
And the process for this is actually surprisingly simple. You just start by telling the AI what your goal is, turn this boring old task into a real achievement story. You feed it a specific prompt, maybe a template from a place like Pittman Training, give it a little context about your job, and then you just hit generate and let it work its magic.
And would you look at the difference? The AI version swaps out responsible for with spearheaded. It focuses on the impact, delivering key insights, and adds that all-important quantifiable result, a 15% increase. It's the same job, but it's been reframed from just a passive task into a really powerful achievement.
Now, that CV trick is a fantastic start, but to really get an edge in this race, we need to go beyond simple prompts. A whole professional ecosystem is popping up, and it's all designed to turn casual users like us into true AI power users.
So one of the key concepts here is something called prompt versioning. As Braintrust defines it, this is basically treating your prompts like professional software code. You use version control, you test them systematically. It's a huge sign that we're moving past just messing around with AI and into an era where reliability and quality are everything. And of course, a whole suite of tools has emerged to manage all this. This analysis from Braintrust shows a growing market for these platforms, and each one has its own strengths, from full-on production integration with Braintrust to simpler setups with something like PromptLayer. This is the professional's toolkit for a whole new era of work. But it's not just the tools that are getting more sophisticated. It's the AI models themselves. The best systems out there today don't just give you a single answer anymore. They actually engage in this complex, multi-step reasoning process to break a problem down.
Just take a look at this example from a technical paper on a system called Dive. It outlines a 6-step process where the AI doesn't just answer your question. First, it tries to figure out your real intent. Then it breaks your query into smaller pieces, answers them, refines them, and then decides if it needs more info before finally giving you that final answer. This isn't just input-output. This is an AI that's actively problem-solving.
So, we've seen the players, the practical uses, and the advanced tech hiding under the hood. So now for the big question. Who actually comes out on top? It is time for the 2026 verdict.
The analysis from HackerNoon shows that the best AI really depends on the job at hand. You can see Claude just dominates in high-stakes professional work like reasoning, writing, coding, and enterprise stuff. For anything that needs live, breaking info, Grok's access to X is just unbeatable. And for those more creative, multimodal tasks, Gemini's integrated ecosystem really shines.
But if you have to pick one overall winner for early 2026, the verdict is pretty clear. It's Claude. It's being praised as the most complete and intellectually honest model out there, and its principled, almost ethical approach has surprisingly become its biggest strength.
Following close behind Claude is Gemini at number 2, which is winning the infrastructure war, but man, it's still searching for its unique voice. ChatGPT, the original giant, lands at number 3. Still a powerhouse, but it's facing some serious issues with trust and monetization. And Grok comes in at 4th. It's incredibly capable in real time, but it's staring down a governance crisis that could really threaten its potential.
So that's the ranking for today. But you know this race is far from over. Let's look ahead to the future of this fight and the key developments that you absolutely need to be watching.
There are 4 huge storylines you're going to want to follow. First, can Grok solve its safety problems before its next big release? Second, how is Anthropic's legal battle with the Pentagon going to play out? Third, what's OpenAI's next move to regain trust and, actually make money? And finally, will Google's Gemini ever find a unique voice to match its massive power?
And all of that leaves us with one final, crucial thought from HackerNoon. This whole tech race, it has really come down to one fundamental question. Who do you trust with your data, your work, your words, and your future? Answering that question for yourself, well, that's how you'll know who to pick.